switch and turn around and maybe we'll take you out and I'll show you all the different kinds of horse, cow, and alpaca dung later. And I'll see if you can identify which belongs to which animal.
He's not kidding either, guys. That would
it is a literal shit show around here.
Oh, Jesse, I miss you.
I miss you guys too. So, what's going on today?
We have an awesome webinar prepared for everybody, brand new app that got introduced to Tim and I end of last year that we're excited to roll out to all of our partners. It's making its way through Phoenix in our city. So being one of the first agents to get partnered on it will be huge, which is why I really wanted to push this out this early into the year and get everybody registered on it so you guys can start utilizing it.
Very cool. You know, at first it was not related to this, but related to your other app, the Home Snap. I wasn't really using it very much until this past, 6 months, especially in this crazy market. And I want to say I've gotten a lot of good feedback from people that are playing around with it. So
yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what it's there for. It's so easy to use, secure. You know, their information's not getting sold like it is on Zillow and Redfin and all those sites. So I'm happy that you're using it, Jesse. Awesome.
All right. So yeah, whatever we can help with new tools to figure out what the hell is happening next in this market, aside from starving for inventory.
Yeah.
Yes.
God help us.
Well, this could help a little bit of that. So that's why I'm excited for Carla to kind of dive into her presentation, but I could go ahead and kick it off. It's 1:02. We'll have probably some few people trickle in and whatnot, but I'll go ahead and just briefly say thank you everybody for registering and being a part of this. I know the new year is off to a crazy start. Everyone's busy working on their deals, busy trying to find new deals and everything in between. But my name is Nicole Spirik. I am with the Tim Schnautz team over at Fairway Independent Mortgage. If you guys have not been a part of our classes before or partnered with us in the past, we are located off of 24th Street in Camelback, but we serve the entire valley and licensed in a few other states as well. Tim and I have been working together for a few years now, and Fairway is actually the #1 purchase lender in all of Arizona. So we did that by helping our partners with the best tools and service that we can, so we can continue doing that with our community. And every day we strive to find ideas, and whether that's marketing, whether that's brand new tools and apps, whether that's our systems and team, so we can continue to help our agents have, the best business that they can and be growing the most that they can. So if you guys have not worked with us in the past, definitely give us a chance. We'd love the opportunity. I have a marketing team within our team where we help our agents with customized marketing materials. Everything is one-on-one. We don't outsource anything. And yeah, so that's just a little bit about our team. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to Carla. Carla is going to share all of the fun and exciting news about the brand new Raven app. And after, please feel free to enter any of your questions in the chat. I could go ahead and ask them for you as well, or unmute yourself. And after she's done with her presentation, we'll show you how you guys can get set up on it for a complimentary fee, well, not fee, but just for complimentary, and have access to all of Raven's Pro features. So thank you, Carla, and I'll go ahead and let you take it away.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicole. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Carla Sorrow. I'm the director here of client success here at Raven. I am going to be sharing my screen. So as soon as that happens, I just want to make sure everyone can see it.
Looks good. Almost,
okay.
But it's loading.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Well, here we go. Here's my title screen, but I think we've already gotten past that. So let's dive right in. I'm going to warn you, I'm going to give you a lot of information today. Okay. Please don't be overwhelmed. It's a lot of really awesome information. And I'm going to preface this with, after this call, you can schedule a one-on-one or small group training with us to dive further. So please stick with me. You're going to love it. As Nicole and Tim promote today's call, we're going to talk to you about how you can grow your business. How, you ask? I'm sure a lot of people put that in front of your face with all different promises, but seriously, by leveraging network effects and data by joining Raven, you can grow your business. And by being paired with Tim, as Nicole mentioned, you get to join Raven and take advantage of all of its features complimentary. So grow your business free. You're sold already, right? So when we're talking about network effects, okay, so Raven is a professional network of verified real estate agents and loan officers. So you do have to be a licensed real estate agent or designee of a licensed real estate agent to be a member of Raven. Our members leverage these network effects by having their buyers and their sellers in Raven, which helps you as an agent convert your buyer seller leads into buyer sellers, as well as help you uncover opportunities for your current clients to help you transact more effectively and faster. Okay, so converting current buyer seller leads, transacting faster. Hopefully you're seeing how I'm telling you can grow your business, and I will talk about more about the network effects and how this works. But if you are proactive, you can join Raven right now with joinraven.com/Tim Schnautz, and I will talk about how to set up your account, but please feel free to be proactive and you can dive in now. So when we're talking about Raven, we're talking about being a network. Think of Raven as kind of like a LinkedIn meets a Facebook marketplace, and bear with me on this one, and like a match.com. Okay. So as an agent, you are a member of Raven. You're a member of this network. You're a member of Raven with Tim, your loan officer. You add your buyers and your sellers into Raven. So we're digitizing your needs and wants. So most of you probably a part of a team or a brokerage. You have office meetings. Maybe you have private Facebook groups or portals where things get posted to. They probably also get lost in the mix. With Raven, you're adding your buyers and your sellers in one place. Then we're taking it like 3 steps further. We're automatically matching you through the network with other agents based upon your buyers and your sellers. So if you have a buyer need, we're automatically going to show you these are listing agents that have listings that have added properties into Raven that fit what your buyer is looking for, and vice versa. You can add any property to Raven and you leverage our matching and in a discreet way, and I will talk about that more, to see if there are any matched buyers agents in the network. Okay, so we're digitizing your needs and wants. They're living in one place. You don't need to go and sign into 500 other places and scan a bunch of information you don't care about. We're automatically sending you a notification based upon mutually beneficial opportunities. Hopefully, you're still with me and that long-winded analogy. The awesome thing about leveraging the Raven network is that as an agent, you get to determine who can see what and when that you're adding to the network. So when I just mentioned you can add any property to Raven in a discrete manner, this is super secure. You get to choose the sharing capabilities. So if you want to add a lead, maybe your farm into Raven, you can do that. You can leverage the buyer demand. So you press a button, you turn on our matching, our magic matching. We're going to show you if there are any buyer's agents in the Raven network that have a buyer that is looking for a property like the one you just added. Now, these types of insights are super unique just on Raven. You're not going to be able to find this anywhere else. And you can use it at a listing appointment or at any interaction with the homeowner. This is a screenshot of what our Raven app looks like as an agent with matches on a property they've added. These are actual agents who have buyers that are part of the Raven network that are looking for a property like the one you added in. Now, if you choose to not share this property because you don't even have a listing agreement signed yet, no one else can see it in the network. Even these buyer's agents, they do not know that this property is in Raven. So this gives you discrete insights and brings a compelling reason to the homeowner to not only list their property, but list with you. So as an agent, this is a competitive advantage, right? Being a member of Raven, having access to this data and being connected with these agents. You can get the listing agreement signed, and then you're already multiple steps ahead of the game. You have this list of potential buyers already queued up. So at any point, you can reach out in the app to these buyers agents, develop a relationship. And at the end of the day, people are doing things more virtual these days, so this is perfect. Things that would already be happening maybe at networking events, they're happening virtually now, so Raven is making that happen. You can connect with these agents at any point, and like I said, as soon as you have the listing signed, you already have some potential interest queued up. So this helps you not only convert a listing, so actually getting a listing agreement, but then this helps you sell this property as quickly as possible. And I know in today's market, maybe that's not your biggest roadblock. However, the more interest you have early on, the better price that you can help sell this property. These homeowners, they become buyers. You gain a buying client, and then you can collaborate with Tim in Raven on the lending side. And it's really a win-win for everyone involved. And you've established additional relationships. Maybe some of these buyers agents, the buyer wasn't interested in this particular property, but Raven has generated relationships for you. Maybe your next property, you want to reach out to these agents because you now are familiar with them, agents that you may not have known previously. So that's the network effect. Now, working with buyers. So Raven is also a compelling tool to help secure more buyers. In the Raven network, I mentioned an agent can add any property that they'd like, regardless of their listing status. So as an agent, you can add your buyer needs to Raven, and you will be matched with inventory that's both active MLS listings, but also out of market listings, excluded listings. The inventory that's being added and shared into Raven goes above and beyond what's just on the MLS. And we have agents, and as Nicole said, we recently just launched in the greater Phoenix, Maricopa County area, but we have agents, a couple of thousand agents in the California markets as well. So in today's market, we know that California folks are coming to Arizona in droves. Raven gives you the ability to get your listings exposed to buyers coming from California and vice versa. If you're working with buyers that are looking to relocate or purchase properties in other markets, Raven can be the place that helps you connect those dots and connect with those listing agents. So I've mentioned as an agent, you have to add your buyers and your sellers into Raven. So I'm sure people are thinking, great, this is another system that I just have to try to micromanage. We do have integration through Zapier with CRM and lead gen systems. So we just recently launched this. This would be a case-by-case basis depending upon the current systems you have in place. But if you are familiar with Zapier, you can create a Zap to flow buyer and seller leads from your existing systems into Raven. Now, Nicole, I'm not even sure if I specifically mentioned this to you last week. We literally just launched this. So the great thing about what we're doing here is based upon our user feedback, our team gets to development as soon as possible, and we try to launch new features and capabilities as soon as we possibly can. So we have a really awesome user feedback loop in that sense. And we're always looking for feedback about native integrations as well. So if there are some particular tools that you folks are using, we'd love to hear about those, and we'd love to investigate how we can make your life as easy as possible with any integrations. Okay, so far we're talking about how you can convert more listings once you have those listings, how you can be transparent and find buyers through buyers agents for your listings, how you can bring additional inventory to the table for your buyers, which is obviously huge in today's current market. Raven also gives an agent the ability to help double end their own deals because you're adding your buyers and your sellers into Raven. So we're going to bubble up even what we call self matches. So if you have a buyer and a prospect that you're adding, we're going to tell you, hey, these are a match. You may want to connect the dots here. So that's being bubbled up for you in addition, of course, to any other agents in the network. We also, and if any of the agents on here are part of brokerages, just know that we also onboard full brokerages, and there are some brokerage advantages to leveraging Raven as well. I talked about how as an agent, you get to determine who sees the information you're adding and when. Well, I'm sure we're all familiar with the clear cooperation policy. With the clear cooperation policy, an agent is subjected to listing on the MLS any property that they are publicly marketing within a 72 or 24-hour window, depending upon the day that it's going live. or being marketed. With Raven, because you can discreetly get matched with buyer's agents, this is not public marketing. No one can see it. So that is how you can add off-market listings into Raven. The next part of that is being part of a brokerage, you can actually share pre-market or off-market or excluded listings with other agents and their clients within your brokerage. So we have it built into Raven. These sharing permissions, I've mentioned disabled is that discrete way that no one can see anything, but you also have the opportunity to share only with other agents within your brokerage. So this is beneficial, of course, for you if you are working with a client that has requested they would like to be excluded from the MLS. This is also beneficial, of course, for brokerages to connect the dots within your own brokerage for the opportunity to close more in-house deals. So, of course, any agent that is part of the same brokerage, once again, would be able to take advantage of these benefits that are exempt from clear cooperation policy. So if you're on today's call, it's advantageous to tell everyone in your brokerage about it, right? And some of the use cases there, Raven has replaced like private Facebook groups for brokerages. As I've mentioned, private Facebook groups are very manual. People add a bunch of stuff. You actually have to go through and pay attention to things you don't otherwise care about. Raven is going to automate those matches for you. So one of the other facets of Raven is a consumer facing search portal. So imagine you are adding your buyers into Raven, or potentially Tim has added buyers into Raven and has assigned them to you as an agent because we have that collaboration feature in here, being a paired agent with Tim. Imagine adding your buyers to Raven and then you're getting a bunch of matches. These matches can be both active MLS listings, as I've mentioned, and additional inventory in Raven. So how are you going to share them with your client? Well, our Raven Pro offering, which is complimentary through your pairing with Tim, provides a search portal that you can set up for all of your buyers, in which all of those matched properties automatically get shared with your clients in an easy to use way. It is simply a link that they click on from whatever browser, from whatever device that's unique to them, but they do not have to download anything. There's no username or password, but it looks and feels like an app. So you can see here, this is our mobile version. So it does look different on mobile versus on web, but it's a really clean way. And if anyone on the call is wondering, okay, this kind of looks like Zillow, why are we saying stop getting Zillowed? Consumers are used to Zillow, right? So we've created something that they're used to, but goes above and beyond the experience, both for them and for you as the agent. So our goal is to get your clients off of some of those third-party systems, keep them in Raven. They're getting access to additional inventory. There's some insights as to whether they've liked a property or not that gets sent directly to you as their agent, so you can stay in the loop. In today's type market, knowing that your client is interested in a property as soon as possible could literally mean the difference between getting that deal or not. Your clients can also do their own search here. So we're taking components from some of those third-party sites. We're taking components from the MLS because we are integrated with the AIR MLS and open to other integrations based upon feedback from agents who are members of other MLSs. So if you are a member of another MLS outside of our MLS, please let us know. We're taking components from some of those disparate systems and putting them all together to provide a better user experience, to provide agent insights, and we're going to give your clients the ability to connect directly with Tim on the financing side as well. So it's all a one-stop shop, if you will.
Yeah, and I really love the feature that once you send this link to your clients, they don't have to create a username, a password, go confirm it in their email, create a two-step authoritative, authentication, whatever it's called. I mean, it's so many steps, and I feel like this is what everybody's loving right now. So
Yes, and in full disclosure, we are compliant with the MLSs. We work in conjunction with them. This is a tool to help you provide the best service for your clients. We're certainly not saying keep things off the MLS. general trajectory is to get them on the MLS. But if you can queue up interest pre-market, or if you can find, once again, your client this property just before it goes live, that just gives you a competitive advantage to do the best service for your clients. And in full disclosure, most of my agents really don't like the Armless consumer portal. You know, I hear it's not super user friendly. We're providing something that is. And as I've mentioned, by pairing with Tim, your preferred lender, you are gaining access to Raven Pro and everything that I mentioned, from matching with agents, from uncovering data insights through the network, and then the agent to client collaboration search portals, and being able to share information from Raven with your clients and elsewhere. So I am going to show you what Raven looks like and how to get started, but just another little plug here to actually, right now, pull up your phone, go to joinraven.com/Tim Schnautz. This will send you directly to the Raven app in your app store for agents. Download it, sign up today. It's, once again, completely complimentary for you as the agent, and super compelling for you to try out. Now, before I switch gears to showing you the product, I do just want to reiterate, we have the mobile app, we have the web interface. I will be showing you both today. If you join from one or the other, it's the exact same login information. So just know that you do have access to both. And I did see, let's see. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Nicole. You got the link in there. You beat me to it in the chat. So for those of you who obviously clicking and copying a link from the chat is easier than typing this slightly long link in, please click through from the chat. Thank you, Nicole. Okay. So there's going to be a couple of different things up on the screen. A phone that's going to show you the mobile app, and then behind it is the web interface. I will be showing you a test account. So of course my account already has data. For those of you who are joining just now, don't panic. You're not going to have any buyers or sellers in here because you haven't added anything. You're not integrated, and you are starting from scratch. So nothing's broken. I promise. That is what is to be expected. Now, a couple of housekeeping things for the folks who are joining now and will be joining today. Your account, once again, will be blank. You don't have any buyers and sellers in here yet. Up in the right-hand corner is where you can access your profile, upload your profile photo, your name, your email, your phone number and address. This is your identifying account information. Your email address is what you log into Raven with, as well as your contact information that is displayed with matching agents and branded on any of your consumer-facing assets. So please note, we recommend using whatever business-facing names, phone numbers, and email addresses that you are comfortable with sharing. When you're joining, and I'm sure you guys are seeing this now, we do ask you for your MLS ID. If you skipped it when you joined, that's okay. You can come into your profile and you can add it. If you're a member of more than one MLS, you can add all of them. This is twofold. So I mentioned you do have to be a verified agent. Our team does have a quick verification process. So when you are joining now, give me and my team a few minutes after this call for us to be able to verify you. We want to make sure you are who you say you are. But when you add your MLS ID in here, it's not only our way for verifying that you are who you are, but that's also how we sync into the MLS on your behalf. So your MLS ID is automatically going to pull in any of your active listings into Raven. So this gives you another place to market your active listings and to have transparency with buyers agents that have buyers looking for a property like your listings, as well as exposing your active listings to those out of market folks who are in Raven. So MLS ID, add it. Very important for your active listings to get pulled in, as well as for you to be able to tap into MLS data through the Raven network. I mentioned we work with the MLSs. We are 100% compliant. You do have to have that identifying information, and I will most likely be following up with you to just get an IDX agreement in place to make sure that we're compliant. As I've mentioned, when you add buyers into Raven, you will be matched with MLS data. Now, if you're verified for example, I'm just going to speak to Armless. if you're verified for Armless, all Armless data is going to get pulled in. So even if the listing agent is not yet a member of Raven, you will still have access to that information. If you're a member of another MLS, you would get matched with, and your clients would get access to those listings that are Raven agent listings. So just keep that in mind. Once again, MLS ID, it is important. And as you're joining, your account is going to be a Raven Basic account. I promise we are going to upgrade you to Raven Pro as soon as we do the verification process and you're successfully paired with Tim. So for those of you who are joining just now, don't panic if you don't have the Pro badge yet. I promise we will take care of you. Okay, so after you get your account all squared away and we do our due diligence on our end, how do you get started? Well, I've mentioned your sellers. If you have any active listings, they would automatically get synced into your account under your seller listings column here. Any other sellers, so once again, any property you want to add into Raven can be added a couple of different ways. On mobile, we have this add button right here in the bottom. You would choose add and then add seller. On web, very similar. You would be on your sellers tab here and you would just click this add seller button. So pretty straightforward. Now I'm going to show you from mobile just because most users are, kind of more comfortable doing things from their phone, especially if you're out and about. Oops. You would come in and add the property address. So as I've mentioned, this can be any property. This can be a property you're prospecting to. This can be a property that you're farming to. This can be your coming soon listing. This can be an office exclusive listing. Anything that you want to add, you can add it. Now, your active listings, as I've mentioned, would automatically get synced if you are a member of Armlist today. Address, what is the price point? Obviously, if you already have a listing agreement, you have that solidified. If this is something you're prospecting, you would have an idea of what you would be presenting to the homeowner, put that price in. You can always come in and adjust. What type of a property is this? And these are the 4 that we support. Pretty straightforward stuff here. How many beds, how many baths? Hopefully you're seeing that this information that you're adding, this is how we match, right? So when we show you the buyer side of things, the criteria looks very similar. We're going to match buyers that are looking for a property with at least 3 beds, 3 baths in this area. That's how we're going to match the agents together. And some of these fields you'll see are required, some of them are not. The more information that you have, the more targeted matching can be, but it's okay. You don't need to know every single facet about a property to add it to Raven. Now, this status is going to go back to, is this a listing or not? So let's say this is a prospect, you would keep it as like a none or like an off market status, but we do show you the ability if this is an office exclusive or coming soon, or once again, if it is an active listing. And then we have some additional fields. Once again, you can use these as little or as much as you'd like. Property description is going to be forward facing. If this property is being shared with matched buyers or being shared through the network, then whatever you have in property description acts like the same type of field as like an MLS property description, but notes is actually just for you. So that's a distinction there. Now, this is super important. If you just missed everything else I just said about adding a seller, please pay attention to this part. Enable matching. Just because you add a property into Raven does not mean it's automatically going to be getting matched. You do have to turn on this matching feature, okay? This is an opt-in. We want to make sure that you are choosing enable. I always get asked this question. If the whole point of matching, why isn't it just automatically being matched? And it's a great question. There might be some reasons why you want to add a property into Raven, but you don't want to see matches just yet. The other thing is we want to make sure that this is an explicit action that you are taking to give our system the okay, yes, I want this property to be matched. It's not being shared with anyone based upon this auto share selection here. So keep that in mind. Enable matching. Default, the auto share is disabled. This is that discrete matching. Our system is going to tell you these are your buyer's matches with the buyer's agents, but no one else can see it. The other options that you have here that I showed on that screenshot are if you want this property to be auto shared with matching buyer's agents and their buyers just within your brokerage, that's where you choose this option. This also gives the ability for any agent and buyer that's within your brokerage to, when they do a search, and I'll show you what that looks like. This property would also show up just for them, but not for agents within other brokerages. The next level of permission is kind of open, right? For all brokerages, all agents from all brokerages across the Raven network. That's when we would be auto sharing this property with any of those matched agents, and it would be visible for any agent in the search portal and their buyer. So those are the 3 permissions, but you 99.9% of the time want to turn matching on. And then based upon the type of property, the status of the property that you're adding to Raven, you get to choose the sharing permissions.
We have a quick question, Carla.
Yes.
If a buyer is looking on this site and doing their own search, will we get contacted if our listing is their match, or will we only get info for their agent?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So while Raven is consumer facing, it's only consumer facing via their agent. So it's a little bit different than Zillow, right? Zillow, like consumers can just go straight to Zillow. Consumers cannot go straight to Raven. They have to be set up through their agent. So if the buyer is searching, it is done through their agent and is strictly associated with their agent. So the listing agent would get a notification and they would get supplied contact information of the respective buyer's agent. They would not be able to connect with the buyer directly. So this obviously safeguards any agent's client information.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
That's a really great question. Thank you.
Wouldn't that also be a violation of a clear cooperation agreement if it was public?
Well, only if it was not an active listing. I suppose if it was an active listing, then that doesn't really come into play. Okay, so this add lead button, of course, we do want to make sure. So I'm adding this property into Raven. So, and look, it's magic. I have new matches. It's literally instantaneous. Obviously, I have some test data in here, but as soon as you add a property in and you've enabled matching, we are literally working instantaneously. And we're going to send you notifications to your phone that you have new matches. You can click into that notification tab, or you can see on this property I just added, we have this exclamation point, look at me, you have matches. And this is where that screenshot that I showed you earlier, this is where you can actually access who you've been matched with. Now, if this is a prospect, you can literally show this screen at a listing appointment. Say, hey, look, these are all the buyers agents that have buyers that are dying to come look at your property. Sign with me so we can get them in. This also gives you the ability, if you click one step further, and this ties into that previous question of what can you see as a listing agent. So we're going to show you who the buyer's agent is, and we're going to show you what the buyer criteria is, but you'll notice there is nothing identifying who this buyer is. So that's what we share. And then as the agent who added this property in, I can call, I can text, I can email these buyer's agents. So this is the connection, right? We're helping to facilitate this connection, and then you have the choice of doing what you wish with it. If you feel comfortable, depending upon the status of the property, or if you know this agent, sharing the property with them at this point, you can do so on a one-off basis. If you click yes, then this buyer's agent will get a notification that their buyer has a match with this property that's being represented by you, the listing agent. The buyer through their portal would also be able, and they would get a notification that this property has been matched with them. So this is just another example of how you truly get to dictate who and when sees what and how you can share the information you are adding into Raven. Now you'll notice that all of these are identified as new. They're new because they're new matches, but they're also not being shared. So if we go back to the details with this example, I have auto share disabled. If I were to share any of these matches, let me just it's now going to indicate that it's been shared. So you can keep track of who has seen what. If I were to go in and change the universal settings here, and I want to share this with all agents within my brokerage, once again, I would recommend having at least a listing agreement. We don't want any agents trying to hijack your prospective listing, but if you have the listing agreement signed and it's not going active for a bit, you can still share it with any agent in your brokerage and not be subjected to clear cooperation. But now we go into our matches and we'll see, so all of these agents are part of my brokerage and you can see that we all share them. And you'll also notice some of these are identifying as self matches. So earlier in the presentation, I mentioned this gives you the ability to potentially double end deals. So if I've added these buyers in Raven and I have this prospect, I'm going to also be able to see, oh yeah, great, like this might be a fit. And so our term self match is just signifying, hey, you have a buyer that just matched the property that you've added to Raven. Who doesn't want the ability to potentially double end a deal, right? Now, one feature of the Raven Pro upgrade that you folks are going to get complimentary through Tim's sponsorship here is the ability to also share any listing or property that you've added to Raven. You can share it outside of Raven. I mean, it's your information. You've added it into the network. You can share it however you'd like. So basically, this share listing link is a single property share page, and you can copy it, you can share it. From the mobile app, you just saw that when I click share, we're automatically going to pull up the apps on your phone, but you can copy it. Some of our clients are using this in like Facebook marketing or other marketing, if of course they can be publicly marketing the property. But you'll see it's just a single property share link, but this gives you the ability to once again share your property outside of Raven. And this is one of my colleagues, Dylan, but obviously this is a test property, and you'll see, we've identified it as an office exclusive. So if you want to share this specifically on, your brokerage page or whatever it is, this gives you a way to do it in a pretty format, and you don't have to spend additional marketing spend. It's all just getting pulled from Raven. Okay, so I am going to switch gears to the buyer side and adding buyers in. Let me just quickly check some of our questions here. So as I mentioned, we are partnered with the MLS, and our goal here is to give agents a tool to provide their clients the best experience. Most properties are still going to end up on the MLS as they would typically end up on the MLS. But if you can queue up interest on your properties as soon as possible, supply and demand, right? You can get the best possible price for that listing. On the flip side, in today's market, buyers are losing out on properties left and right. This is what I consistently hear with all of my agents in this market. If as an agent, you can gain exposure to a property before it goes on the MLS, that's not preventing it from going on the MLS necessarily. It just gives you the ability to have a competitive advantage to get your client in there as soon as possible. And that could be the difference between getting the deal or not. But we still obviously recommend for the best exposure for your clients, the goal is to still get a listing on the MLS, but we know it's extremely difficult working in today's market. There's such low inventory that the Raven network really does give you a competitive advantage to try to find those things if they are pre-market, or at least make the connections with agents pre-market and be ready to go as soon as they go live.
Carla, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
As far as the buyer's needs and wants, are there measures that are taken to ensure that that is current? Or are we going to see things that dwindle there for weeks, maybe out of date? Maybe those buyers have already bought and they didn't update it. Is it only there for like 5 days, 10 days? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So just like any other network, this is user-based. So the data in here is based upon what agents and their loan officers are adding to Raven. Now, we do an audit that if we see there hasn't been any activity on a buyer in several months, we will reach out to the agent, basically a cease and desist, like, hey, are you still working with this buyer? If you don't respond, or if you're not, then we will remove them from the system. But we're certainly not looking at like a 5-day window. That would be a little too drastic. We're looking at probably like a few months window. But that's a great question. Thank you.
And I feel like as the agent, you would want to remove that, buyer seller, because you're constantly getting notified if there's a match. And I feel like it just kind of clogs your, database and your notifications with unnecessary alerts.
That's a really good point. Yes. So you will continue to get notifications based upon matches. So no one wants their inbox cluttered more than it needs to be. So hopefully my face or Raven showing up in their inbox will be compelling to clean up their buyers as well. But if not, I'll hunt you down.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you. Great questions, everyone. So on the buyer side of things, this is very similar to adding in a seller. I'm going to show you, actually, I'm going to just switch gears real quick and show you some of the functionality from the web, just so you're getting a taste of both here. So on your buyers list here, once again, nothing would be here. You would do a couple of things. So you can either click this add buyer need here, and this is going to show a form that's very similar to the seller side of things. What is your buyer looking for? So where are they looking? What is their price range? And we do have this really cool, well, I think it's really cool, hopefully you do as well, map feature where you can draw specific map areas around where your clients are looking. So let's be serious. Buyers are typically looking in very strategic areas, whether it's around a golf course or a landmark or near school or this side of the highway or near a park, whatever it might be. So you can get pretty granular, and we're only going to show matched properties that fit this criteria, including those specific areas. Now, your buyer has the same functionality in their search portal as well, that I will, of course, be showing you momentarily. So adding a buyer into Raven, you can see some of these fields are required, some of them are not. Now, whether you're adding a buyer in or if Tim is adding a buyer in and assigning it to you as his paired agent, both of you guys would be able to see the buyer in your respective buyers list. And as soon as a buyer is added, it can also be edited. So also keep that in mind. If you're not sure about all of their buying criteria, you can add them to Raven and always come back and edit. Now, the piece that is consumer facing is tied to two places, this being one of them. This buyer search portal. What you want to do here is turn this on if you want to provide the buyer search portal to your clients. Now, that's obviously one of the compelling factors of working with Raven, so I highly recommend you do so. There's a couple of components here. When you activate a buyer search portal, you also have the option of activating listing notification emails for your clients. So you can send these emails to as many folks that are involved in the buyer search, and they would receive an email from you as their agent that a buyer's portal search has been activated for them. And then they would continue to receive emails from you via Raven when new listings are matched with them. They can click through those emails to access their portal, to access those new listings. And when we activate this, and just know, whether you as the agent who are adding a buyer or if Tim is adding a buyer and assigning you, you guys both have the ability to turn on the search portal for your shared clients, and your partners would be here. So this is where Tim's face would show up, and he would be paired with you and added to your buyer need. Now, I'm not going to add this buyer in, but you would click save here. And as soon as you add buyers in, the same thing is going to happen. You are automatically going to get notifications, like I showed you on the seller side, of matched listings. Now, everything that's being shared immediately is going to be active listings, and anything else in the network that is being explicitly shared will also come through immediately. Keep in mind, because the listing agent does have the ability to kind of pre-screen their matches, depending upon if they can share information, just because you don't see any like exclusive inventory matched immediately, that doesn't mean it's not happening in the system. So just keep in mind that as soon as you add a buyer, you're still gaining exposure for not yet active or exclusive inventory to the listing agents. So just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. They just may not be able to share it yet with you because of clear cooperation policy, but you're on their shortlist to reach out to because we've matched you in Raven. So keep that in mind. That is a question I get frequently. Now, once you've added that buyer into Raven, your buyer list will be accessible, of course, under your buyer leads. Any matches that you have are accessible either clicking through each buyer, or we also bubble up your buyers. Now, it's similar on the seller side. I didn't explicitly show it to you, but it's pretty evident how that works there. Now your buyer portal. So I mentioned that your clients would receive an email. They don't have to download anything. They just have to click on a link. This is what that portal looks like from the consumer side. This is fully accessible from you and from your paired loan officer. So you guys can see what that looks like on their end if you click on this access portal directly from the buyer need. You can see here, this criteria up here, this is what had been added into Raven either by you as the agent or your paired loan officer, Tim here. These are those matches. So this is exactly what you're seeing in Raven, but of course it's in a much better visual format for your clients. This is the Zillow-like interface that your clients are used to. They can interact on the map. They can interact in their list view. Here is where a lot of the collaboration is happening. They click in to any of these properties and they're going to be able to see, okay, this is an active listing. We're going to pull in everything from the MLS, all of the photos. If this were any other type of inventory, your client would be able to see that. So it's pretty compelling if they're seeing like office exclusives are coming soon, coming through their way. You as their agent are front and center for them. They can request a tour, they can send you a message through Raven. Once again, this is the kind of all-encompassing collaboration platform features. The financing piece, so Tim is going to be co-branded on any buyers. So this gives your buyers the opportunity to connect directly with the preferred lender here. And we've set Tim's account. So when they click get started, they're automatically going in to Tim's app, and then Tim gets notified. So that way it's very seamless between your client getting properties that they've been matched with, indicating they're interested, and then getting the lending process going all in one place. Once they've indicated if they're interested in a property, you can see here, pretty straightforward how this works. Your clients then have the ability to tap into just their listing list, excuse me, their likes list. So if they want to review, okay, these are the ones that I previously liked, maybe they want to narrow it down, they're all going to be in one place. Same thing with their dislikes. If they didn't like something, they can always go back, they can change their mind. When a client likes a property, you as their agent are going to get a notification directly to your Raven account, once again, telling you that your client liked a property. Once again, being in the know immediately is the difference in today's market of potentially securing a deal or not. So that's very important for us. And then once a property has been identified as liked, we also update your buyer match list. So for example, I was showing you from the mobile version that matches look new if they're brand new, right? But then if they've been identified as interested or not interested, we're going to show that here. So as the agent, you have visual cues. We're also going to keep track of an activity field. If they're interested in anything, we're going to show that up here. And one other thing is your buyer activity here. So your buyer list is going to indicate how active your buyers were in their portal. So this gives you some kind of big brotherly insights, how serious are these buyers? Are they leveraging this? What's going on? One other huge piece of these portals are when your client, and they will do this, when your client decides, I'm interested in what's going on and what's available in this slightly different area, or let me change the price point a little bit. This is where they have that self-service capability. So for example, this is looking in Miami, Florida, but they can draw specific areas. As I've mentioned, they can change this to zip codes, cities, whatever. They can update their price, their beds, their baths, any of that criteria they can update. The search results are going to change based upon their new criteria. For example, let's just move some things around here just to show you. We're hitting save, and not only is the results going to change for the buyer here, but you as the agent are also going to get a notification. You can see they're literally changing in real time here. The agent is also going to receive a notification that their client changed their search criteria. Obviously, it's important as the agent to know what is your buyer looking into. Are they changing their mind? You might not know that if they're on something like a Zillow, but in Raven, you will have insight into that. We're also going to recalibrate that buyer in Raven. So if they did update any part of their search criteria, it's going to get updated in their buyer lead details, which is accessible once again under their buyer details. And the matches that you're looking at will also be updated based upon the new matches that your client is looking at. So once again, that full feedback loop through that user experience through the portal. And just a little bit more about branding. In addition to you being front and center on each of these listings, you also have a tab that you're their agent, and then Tim is the preferred lender is also accessible here as well. So your clients have you guys front and center versus going to Zillow and seeing other people's faces pop up, which no one wants that happening. Okay. Now, I think I've mentioned that your clients, they don't have to download anything. It's very easy entry. If they want to bookmark it, their portal, they can. I also have this up on my phone here just to show you what this looks like here. You know, they can add, oops, sorry guys, they can add to their home screen. Okay, so here you go. This is what I was looking for. Elizabeth Test just updated their search criteria. So that's exactly what I just showed you guys. So that's the type of notification you would get. I mean, that was what, within, I don't know, maybe 60 seconds. I mean, it's pretty darn instantaneous.
Mhm.
Your clients can also add this to their home screen on mobile. So that gives that app a feel without actually having to download an app. And just to show you very quickly what this looks like on mobile, you know, their list view here. This is a little bit more animated on mobile. Like if I like something, it kind of like sweeps it away, that kind of dating app feel, you know, swipe right, swipe left. I like this, I don't. People are used to that. They like to see that. And then the map view is just accessible here. So you're still getting, your client is still getting the same functionality on mobile. It's just laid out slightly different. And then for you as the agent, you also have with Raven Pro, once again, through your connection with Tim, you have an agent search capability. So this is similar to the buyer portal, but on your side as the agent. So you can use this and search. This is web specific. You can use this and search without explicitly adding a buyer. So for example, I think I have 2 different searches going on in North Carolina where I am and in Florida, but you can see here, this is a very similar interface. I can change my price range. And this just gives you a quick way to see what type of inventory is in Raven before specifically adding a buyer. You can also share from here so you can see I just updated the price. This is real-time results, guys. If we click in, we also, just kidding. This is what happens when you're working with test data sometimes, sorry. But when you click in, you also typically would have the ability to share. So I'm sorry, I have stuff that's not live on the database because I'm testing with it. But when this is a live search and a live account, you can also click in similar to what your client looks at. So I'll do it over here just to show you. Similar to what your client is looking at, and they have the ability to share under this more here. And then you also would have the ability to share from that other view. So live demos, that's what happens. Sorry, guys. And here's the share button that your client would be able to share this, but on the flip side, it's very similar to what it looks like for you in your portal. That portal, that search functionality I mentioned earlier, you would be able to see any active listings if you're a member of that MLS, as well as any active listings respectful of Raven agents and any inventory that's being shared with you. So as a brokerage, any of those office exclusives would automatically be shared through when you search, or once again, if someone is explicitly sharing any of their off-market listings with you, you would be able to see them in the search portal here as well.
I think you just blew our mind, Carla.
Oh, geez. Well, I'm like breaking the internet in the meantime. So there's one other thing I want to show you guys, and then let's open it up for questions. So I did talk about integration briefly, and I mentioned adding buyers into Raven is typically either if you're doing a zap or you're getting integrated, you can pull it in. Otherwise, it would be you would be adding them the way that I showed you, or Tim has the ability to add buyers and share them with you as his assigned preferred agent on those buyers. We also have the ability to upload a bulk spreadsheet. So if you have a bunch of buyers, and we do stress that these should be in-market buyers. So to lend itself to Tim's previous question, we do not want agents to just upload 20 years of previous buyers. This is very much like top of the funnel in-market buyers. We want this to be fresh data. At the end of the day, you don't want to be looking at an account with hundreds of buyers anyway. You're going to get blown up with notifications. Put in the folks that you are actively working with, or, you know, those folks are like, hey, I'll buy if you find me the perfect house. Like those are in market enough, right? And this is the perfect way to do that for them. But you can upload a spreadsheet, send it to our team through this interface, and we can help you get, if you have like, you know, several dozen folks in here, we can help you get them in here. One other way that buyers can come into Raven is a little bit of a self-service, but this also is a little bit of lead gen, lead capture that we have built into Raven. So as a Raven Pro agent, under settings, if you were exploring, you might have seen this, the search portal landing page. You as the agent have access to a unique one. Tim, you have access on your agent's behalf, as you know, but agents just know Tim would also be able to do some lead capture. So stay in his good graces so he can choose you. But if you open or copy this link, this is going to show you. You can use this lead capture page a couple of different places. Back when you know, open houses were a thing, agents had this on their computer or on their iPad to capture buyer needs of the attendees of the open houses. But you can use this in an email signature. You can use this in emails. You can use this on Facebook. You can connect this to your website. It's pretty, you know, uses are pretty abundant, but this will be branded to you as the agent, and any buyer can add their contact information, where they're looking, what their price is. As soon as they fill this out, they become essentially registered with you as a buyer. So what does that mean? You'll get a notification that a new buyer has been added to Raven. They'll show up in your Raven account under your leads. They automatically are created a buyer search portal, and they're automatically being shared any listings that have been matched. So they can do a little bit of self-service, but you can use it as lead gen, lead capture. And then that also saves you from having to add them into Raven if they're doing it themselves, right? So win-win there. But I know I said I had two more things. So I promise I'm done. Let's open it up to questions. Thank you everyone for being patient as I talked about a lot of stuff today.
Thank you, Carla. There was definitely a lot covered. So if anyone has any questions about, you know, the agent portion, the buyer, the active, the off market, please drop them in the chat or unmute yourself. We could go over those.
Yep. And as folks are either mustering up the courage to ask questions or hopefully not waking up, we do have in-app support. So once you've joined Raven, you can access our live chat directly from your Raven account. We are quite accessible. I mean, maybe not like 2 a.m. on Sunday. Give me some time to wake up, but we will respond as soon as we possibly can. And you can schedule those one-on-one or group trainings with us as well. It looks like someone has raised their hand. I don't know if I have the ability to address
Yeah,
you. Hi, Jesse.
that's me. I got a couple quick questions. Does it automatically, and this might be a pro feature that you may have talked on, does it automatically syndicate like coming soon properties from the ARM list to the Raven app, or do I have to do it manually?
That's a great question. You do have to do it manually or have someone on your team do it. That's not on our end. We would love to be able to syndicate that information. Armless does not allow that information to be syndicated. They only allow their active listings. So if you do have like an MLS coming soon listing, that does fall into the category of adding that into Raven, or potentially, you know, if there's an integration with your other systems.
Okay, and if you don't mind, I've got a few questions. Should I like let other people talk, or can I just keep going?
Take it away, Jesse.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I was just putzing around and I put in a coming soon manually, and it seems, I don't know if it's a glitch or something, and maybe it's just user error, but it seemed to always keep resetting and defaulting and erasing my HOA to blank and the year built blank. So I don't know if that's something.
Are you on Android or iOS? That is not the user experience. So I just want to set that clear.
It's iOS.
Okay.
So I entered everything in my coming soon, and I put in the year built, HOA, 0, year built, and then every time I went back to edit to put the status as coming soon, it keeps deleting my year built and HOA.
Okay. A quick question. Did you already add it to your account? Like, can you access it? When you open that up in non-edit mode, can you see the HOA and the year built, or is it just getting erased in edit mode?
Ooh, let's try listings. It does not show up in view mode.
Okay. We will investigate that for you. That is probably just a glitch with the version of app. So I do apologize, but we'll definitely investigate it and we will make sure we can get that in there for you. But I'm happy that you were super hands-on and got in there. That's awesome. Everyone, Jesse is kind of the person to look to right now.
No, don't say that. No.
Or, okay, don't look to him, but he's been a model student today, so I don't know what to say.
I don't know if I go that far, but I'm here. My other question, I like to kind of hear the history of this company and like where you originated, where you guys have originated from, where this model came from, how long you've been in the Phoenix market, and what is your long-term goal with this product?
Yeah, so I need like a whole other hour for that.
Give me
Okay.
your elevator pitch.
Okay, elevator pitch. We started about a year and a half ago. Our founder is currently still a licensed real estate agent. He was a member of a top 7 national team in Orange County, California, and their specific team was looking for a tool that was going to help them match deals within the office. Hence, Raven was born based upon matching. They had some really great success. We broadened it out. We started our California marketplace about a year and a half ago. We have over 2,500 agents. We moved into the Greater Phoenix, Maricopa County, like Q4 of last year. We have a few hundred agents in this area. We are expanding, obviously. So now, I mean, it's a great time to get in now, right? But this is a network, so we're constantly growing agents on the network. And our plan is definitely to be national. Right now, we're in Southern California, Central California, the Greater Maricopa, Arizona counties area, Las Vegas, launching in Southern Florida and some Texas markets. But if you guys have some markets that you would like us to look into based upon feeder markets, we're all ears. But our goal is definitely to be national. We'd love every single licensed agent to be a member of Raven, but that's obviously a high goal there. But I don't know. Is that a good enough elevator pitch? I could go on, but
No, I'd like to hear, what the thought process is and all these things and where you plan on going. I mean, obviously with Zillow, with them becoming a brokerage, did you see that as an opportunity because Zillow is now its own brokerage now, buying and selling? Do you see this as an opportunity to kind of be the new, not the new, but the different version of Match.com with real estate for this type of arrangement? Obviously, we're in such a heavy sellers market here that, a listing and boom, and you got 20, 30 offers. It seems like this is the need right now in this market is kind of like the reverse prospecting in the MLS.
yeah, you touched on a couple of things. First and foremost, when we first launched, our goal was the idea of a dating app, right? Like, how can we make real estate easier? Like, there's going to be a way to automate. Like, I have people in my office that have a buyer for something I have coming up, and I don't even know that. Like, how is that possible? How can we make these dots be connected more easily? But then the other thing was, the particular team that Shane Stanfield, our CEO, was a member of, he was a leader of the team. They had gone through so many different tech platforms that quite honestly, there was something wrong with all of them, that they were also looking to build something that was going to tie in different facets of different things. And everyone, for the most part, does not love the MLS interface, the search, what is client facing. So obviously that's where we're coming in. And then, yeah, we're not giant fans of Zillow. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. So if we can keep consumers away from places like Zillow by providing this all-encompassing search experience and having agents stay in the know, that is also our major goal. So we definitely want agents to feel like Raven can provide a better experience, but then also at the end of the day, maybe replace some other things that they're using that aren't meeting their needs as well. But Yeah, the whole Match.com like Tinderization is obviously at the forefront of what we're doing here.
Sounds so dirty.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just kidding.
Obviously, this is a professional network, guys.
Well, that's as far as I'll go. No, obviously there's that fine line of matching your listing with buyers and then maximizing and paying attention to your fiduciary of creating competition and drive up that price through competition by still using the MLS. But I can see this definitely as another tool to, like you said, try to, get the listing, or another tool for your buyers, because obviously it's, nothing but cutthroat out here. I'm sure it's the same way there.
It is, yes. Most of, I think, across the country, I want to say is like the lowest inventory, like historic lows. But interest rates are also really low. So, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a tough thing to swallow, right? You want there to be inventory, but your listings are going off the market so quick. But then people want to buy because loans are really awesome. So we know that the market will be shifting, and honestly, Raven is that platform that can assist agents regardless, right? You mentioned it, like on the other side of things, if you're trying to elicit interest for a listing, we got you covered, and then vice versa, trying to find things for your buyer. So think of Raven as obviously something that can withstand the market. We launched pre-COVID, we launched pre-clear communication policy, cooperation policy, and we're still providing something, if not more valuable than ever.
So it sounds like for the general public, the only access they have to get to this information in this app is through through a licensed loan officer or a realtor, because otherwise, once if it was public, it would be clear cooperation issues.
Yes, so the consumer does only have access through their agent. I do want to clarify, the loan officer, to enable the consumer facing pieces, they do have to assign that buyer to an agent. So the consumer facing pieces is actually 100% tied to the agent, but the agent having access to provide this is tied to the loan officer. So everyone's kind of pairing up with each other in Raven, that network effect.
Got it.
Yeah,
All
that's
right, I'll shut up.
No, those are all great questions. Thank you, Jesse. We also have a few more in the chat. Erica asked, for keywords, I don't see an option for number of garage spaces.
So keywords are kind of a catch-all, honestly. So you can fill in whatever you'd like. You don't necessarily have to pull something in from the drop down. The drop down has just kind of cached some things that have been frequently used, but you can add anything in. And in full transparency, we do have it on our roadmap to improve how our keyword matching impacts results. So right now it's sort of icing on the cake. Keywords are not one of the main components that is a one-to-one search result, opposed to like 3 beds, 3 baths. We will in the near future be implementing some stronger logic around keywords, and also implementing that on the consumer side. So they would be able to add some keywords and be able to sort their matches strictly based upon that. So keywords are there, kind of icing on the cake, kind of catch all. We do have some really awesome plans to improve it and make it a little bit more prominent part of the search.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And you talked about being members of Armless. What about other MLS in Arizona?
Yes, great question. So we can integrate and become sort of like a vendor of really any MLS based upon our users. I hate to use the word sponsorship, but at the end of the day, it kind of is sponsorship. So there are a couple of other MLSs that we are in the middle of investigating. PAAR MLS, Northern Arizona MLS. So if you are a member of one of those or another MLS, let me know. There's just a process to become an approved vendor and to get IDX connections. Just because we're not connected today doesn't mean we can't be in the near future. We just need to start that process, and based upon the members' requests. So I hope that makes sense. Armless is the biggest one, right? So that's sort of where we started, and it was based upon what our initial users in Arizona were members of. But we definitely have plans to be integrated and Okay, Oscar, so you threw out some ones that weren't even necessarily on my radar. So I might be following up with you to get some things moving forward with, let's see, okay, SVVAR was one, TAR, and I don't know if these are pronounced their acronyms or not, so I'm sorry. But yeah, let me follow up with you and see if we can get some things in motion for those as well. Every MLS has different policies and different processes, so keep that in mind. We just have to follow with whatever they dictate, basically.
Thank you, Carla. And I'll definitely be following up with everybody on the call, helping you, sending you over the link to sign up, and then there to answer any of your guys' questions. I've been in talks with Carla for a few weeks now, so I could definitely answer any questions off the bat that you guys have about inputting any buyers, sellers, or any, generic questions about Raven. But I'm super excited. Thank you, Carla, for bringing us all of this knowledge. I'll definitely share your contact information with all of our awesome agents who joined us today. And if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to ask them, but it's super easy to join, and it's even easier for your clients to use this as a home search tool where they will get notified of actual houses that match their criteria. So you guys saw how easy it is to swipe right or left, whether they like it. So I would love for you guys to all take a chance on this and try it out with, a neighbor or friend who might be interested in buying, who's on the fence, or even by yourself, just check it out, put yourself in there and see what you find. I think this is going to be a great tool, especially in our market, kind of, piggybacking on what Jesse said. Right now it's cutthroat. So anything we could do to advance ourselves is awesome. So thank you, Carla.
Thank you, everyone. I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you, Nicole, Tim, for bringing me in and being able to speak to your agents today.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carla. Really appreciate you coming out and joining us. I love the program. I think our agents and partners will as well. So really appreciate it.
Well, guys, we could go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to throw my phone number in the chat. Feel free to text me, call me if anybody needs anything after this call. I am available to answer any of your questions. And once again, appreciate your guys' time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Later,
Jeff.
guys.
And
Later, Jesse.
Nicole, you taught me something too. I've known Tim for about 10 years. I've been calling him Schnauz for the past years. Now his name's pronounced Schnautz. I'm just kidding. Kidding.
I was about to say bullshit. There's no way you didn't know how to say my name.
Oh, no, correct.
All right. Later, guys.
See you guys.
See you all. Thank you.